Hey guys, thanks for joining us again, or for the first time. Today on episode 451 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast, we were joined by Jesus and Kimberly Vasquez, the owners of Papito Mo's. We discussed the meaning behind their name, their menu options, obstacles they faced along the way, and tips on how to support local. They also shared with us some of their favorite small restaurants in Utah, and we got to learn about a Caribbean night they're hosting on the 17th of October, so listen for that.
Hey, before we get into that conversation, I want to introduce ourselves. My name's Chris Hollifield.
And my name's Chrissy Hollifield.
Hey, if this is your first time listening to the podcast and you're curious what it's all about, this podcast is all about showcasing awesome people right here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Chrissy and I were talking to business owners, comedians, authors, tattoo artists, restaurant owners, food truck owners, distilleries. I think you guys get the idea. Anyone that might have a cool story to share. All right, it is time. There is just a few days left to get your votes in for your Best of Utah nominees, I guess, is what that would be. I want you to go to iamsaltlake.com/bestofutah2020. This is going to forward you over to the City Weekly Best of site where you can cast your votes. Only one vote per person. However, you have to vote for 10 categories.
That should be pretty easy because we have a lot of awesome stuff here.
Like one of the categories is Best Local Podcast. I can think of one local podcast. You're listening to it right now. Just type in I Am Salt Lake.
Hint.
And if you choose not to vote for a category, just leave it blank, but you have to vote for 10 categories. There's 100 categories. I mean, we got great sponsors of the podcast. Nominate some of them. It's iamsaltlake.com/bestofutah2020. You have to get your votes in by the 30th. Like I said, please help I Am Salt Lake podcast earn their 4th Best of Utah star. This is exciting. 4th year, right? That could happen.
It is. It's really fun. It's cool.
But let's show the rest of the state who the best local podcast is.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we know that you love supporting local just like we do when we can. So lucky for you, we have a list of awesome local businesses at supportsaltlake.com. These guys are local businesses who are supporters of our show. They believe in us and we believe in them. And we really have some great supporters, including Hugo Coffee Roasters, Elevation Chiropractic, Woodland Advisors, and more. The entire list of supporters is at supportsaltlake.com.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Here's that conversation with Kimberly and Jesus Vasquez, the owners of Papito Mo's. This was a fun conversation. I learned a lot in this one. Hey, thanks for listening, you guys. Enjoy the conversation. Here we go. We can get started chatting. I want to find out your guys' story and find out how it's Papito Mo's. Is that the correct pronunciation?
You said it right.
Yeah.
Papito Mo's.
Well,
Oh.
yeah.
It is. He said it, Papito Mo's.
Did he?
He said it right.
Did you say Papito or Papito?
I don't know. I think I might have said Papito, I don't know.
That's a big question for
We
for
get a
somebody
lot.
who doesn't speak Spanish.
We got a lot of people that just pronounce the P like
it's pepper.
it's like Papito, but it's really like
it's
you just gotta
just say pa.
It's Papito.
Papito. Yeah.
Just the
It's got more energy to it.
Yeah. Just do a salsa while you're doing it. You know.
Get in the groove.
Now I'm assuming neither one of you were born and raised here in Utah, right? Where are you from? Where are you guys from?
We're from the East Coast. So, we moved here about 7 years ago from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Right on.
Yes. I was born and raised in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so you know where Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania is.
Yeah.
Wilkes-Barre and Scranton. I lived there for about 5 or 6 years. About 20 years ago. In my early 20s, I just had some friends that moved out there, and so I lived there. Spent some time driving around Allentown and whatnot. Not I don't have any. I can't remember anything, but just the turnpike and the scenery, and stuff like that. But.
And I lived in Elizabethtown for a half a year in first grade, so I'm in the club too, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was born in New York.
Yeah.
New York City.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So Manhattan, people think New York and they think like Brooklyn or Bronx, especially like with our culture and being Puerto Rican, it's, but yeah, Lower East Side, Manhattan.
So did you grow up in Manhattan?
My earlier childhood I did. I grew up in New York, in the city, and we lived in the projects. Yeah, for the first, I want to say 10 years of my life. And then my parents moved down to Miami because my uncle had his own business down there. And then the hurricanes were terrible. We actually lost our home in Hurricane Andrew. And one year, it was like hurricane season again. And my mom was like, oh, heck no, we're done with this. And then we moved up to Pennsylvania, where I had another family member that had moved from New York there. And so that's where I met this guy.
Well, her and my sister became best friends, and then we ended up, hooking up later on in life.
So what brought you guys to Utah then, from the East Coast?
Work, my job. Yeah. I worked for corporate for many years, and I worked actually for FL Schmidt. I don't know if you know who they are. They're over in Midvale. They have one of their locations, but they do mining equipment, and they were restructuring the organization. And they said, "Hey, do you guys want to move out here?" And I was like, "What's in Utah?" Mm-hmm. And they were offering exploratory visits, and we came. We actually, this is kind of bad, but they were like, it was a free trip, so we chose Valentine's weekend, right? Where it's like a free trip, Valentine's weekend. Let's go to Park City. Let's go see Salt Lake, and we came, and we fell in love with it. So
we don't want to go back. Best way to do it.
No family here. It's just the two of you here, right? You didn't have like
just
family?
Just the two of us and our children. We have a lot of children.
How many kids do you have?
Yeah, together we have 6 combined. So we became a blended family early. We've been together almost 20 years now. Yeah. So I had 3 children in my previous relationship, and she had 1. So when we got together, the kids were very small, and we just blended and became a family together. And now
we have a bonus. And then we had a bonus child.
Yeah, then we had a bonus child, and she kind of blended the family together.
No, we had Brian.
Oh yeah, Brian too.
Brian is the bonus child.
He's my oldest.
And then we had the little one that was like, "Whoa, what happened here?" I thought we were kids.
Yeah. So it's a long it's
a long story, but we got 6 kids, and most of them are grown. They're adulting, right? Whatever that means, and then we have our 12-year-old daughter.
Now, do any of your kids work for in Papito Mo's?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
My son's actually out running the food truck right now for dinner in Harriman. So, and then my daughter works as a server, and she does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they kind of do everything.
Yeah.
Whatever we need. And then we have our nephew here also, and he works with us.
My nephew is one of my head cooks at the restaurant. So he came over here from Pennsylvania to give me a hand. So he's been with us for about 2 years, and we were able to expand in these 2 years, and get the restaurant.
I realized, so years ago, there used to be a Mo's Diner in your location. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of how you got the name Papito Mo's? Does that have anything to do with Mo's Diner there?
No, it was a coincidence. It was, at the time when we purchased the business off of Mo, we were going through changes of kitchens. I don't know if you know, but when you have a mobile food unit, you need a commissary kitchen. And so we were going through a few kitchens, and we just weren't happy. And, the opportunity came up, and I was just kind of looking for a commissary, and I seen a restaurant for sale. So it kind of came in, and I was just like, you know what? We really didn't want a restaurant. We were kind of comfortable growing the way we were going, and we just did it. We just were just like, you know what? Let's. I made a call to Mo, and it just happened to be that his diner was Mo, and my company is called Papito Mo's, but that's a family name. So that's Papito is a cousin of mine that passed away, and Mo is my uncle Moses, that also passed away to gun violence. So that's my way of keeping their name alive. But it was just a coincidence, I seen it as a little sign, it was kind of like, yeah, Mo, okay, let's. So, but yeah, it just happened to be that way, and yeah.
'Cause I was curious. So what came first, the food truck or the restaurant? So the food truck came, how long before the restaurant did the food truck come around? Like, when did you start that?
4 years. So back in 2015, we launched the food trailer. It was the one that I have now is my second one. So the first one lasted the first year. They say, the first year in business, it'll make or break you.
It broke us.
It broke me. It broke me the first year. So,
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I came into this with no experience. I never worked in the food industry before. I was a truck driver actually when I left Allentown. So, it was quite a different occupation for me. And, I kind of rolled with it, but it ended up being a little too much for me to swallow the first year. So I kind of gave up, like mentally, physically, emotionally. Like I just wanted out, and we were able to get out of our lease that we were at. I had a little takeout location down in Sandy back in 2015 too.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do too much. I was trying to do the food truck, the takeout location. I had no help. My children didn't want to help me, so I mean,
had to work.
Yeah, she was working a full-time job, to pay the bills at home. And it was a roller coaster ride. So the first year I sold everything. Got out of it.
How does a takeout location work? So it wasn't a physical location, or was it?
Yeah. It was actually a bakery. It was an old bakery that was located in Sandy in Union Square. So what I did was the commissary thing again. I saw the bakery for it, and I was like, wow, I could use this for my commissary for the food truck. So that's what I intentionally got the place for. And then when I got it, it started getting winter time, and it was cold, and I got impatient. I wasn't selling anything. So I was like, hey, maybe we could do a little takeout location from here. So, we got a counter together, and we started selling food from there. So it was no sit down, just pick up. Kind of like
today, 2020.
Yeah.
Who knew? I mean,
way to pivot with what your needs were,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So let's talk about your current menu for listeners, because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that have never been to your place before. They've never eaten your food. They're not familiar with what you have. Let's talk about your menu. Tell me what's on your menu.
So our menu consists of obviously a lot of Puerto Rican traditional dishes. Like we don't have much fusion, although that is something that we're gonna probably start doing soon, just to kind of spice it up a little bit. But so rice. So in Puerto Rico we have it's called arroz con candules. It's a yellow rice with small beans inside. It's made with like fresh herbs. So that's different. So we have rice, and then we have our meats that go with it. So we have what we call grub bowls, and then it comes with the rice. It comes with a side of plantains, sweet or savory. A lot of people here, I think, are used to plantains because a lot of the different cultures use them. We actually do something called tostones, which are twice fried plantains. They're almost like a potato chip, very crisp and salty. I'm a person that loves salty food, so I kind of tend to go towards the tostones. So we have these rice bowls that come with choice of protein, with the plantain, and so you can get that with our pork, which we call pernil. It's a marinated slow pork, not sweet like you would get at other Latino establishments. It's more of a savory, all fresh ingredients in that, and we marinate it for 48 hours? You guys marinate it for?
Try to at least, yeah.
48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, and then we slow cook it, and then we hand pull it. So we get all of the good pieces of the meat, and it's really, really good. We do chicken, which we call Boricua chicken, and it's basically chicken breast that we stew, and then we throw it on the grill with some sauteed onions, so it stays really moist and tasty and flavorful, because you have all the juices from the stew that it's been sitting in as it's cooked really slowly. And we have something called camarones al ajillo that's also on the menu, which is a garlic shrimp. You can compare it maybe to a scampi, but it's not a scampi.
less
Mofongo.
Italian.
And the other big thing is mofongo. I know it sounds weird, right?
Have you ever guys ever heard of mofongo?
The name doesn't sound familiar.
I don't
no.
know. I might have eaten it at some point, but
Yeah, that's what really separates us from
any other
a lot of the
cuisine here.
Latin the other Latin cuisines around here. Mofongo is a traditional Puerto Rican dish, but they also make it in different cultures a different way. But us in Puerto Rico, we take it's a mashed garlic plantain.
It's a mashed green plantain.
Yeah, the
that
green.
we put a garlic sauce in, and then we stuff it so you can have it alone. And then we stuff it with chicken, pork, vegetables. So it can be vegan friendly, or you can enjoy it the really, really traditional way, which has pork rinds mashed into it. And it's a really good savory dish. And you put a broth on top of it that just adds to the flavor. And so it's just a lot of good things that
Empanadillas.
empanadas.
We got some beef and cheese. There's a lot. They're very top sellers. So
Yeah.
you guys are making me so hungry right now. It sounds so good.
yeah, it's just different flavors than a lot of people are used to here. You know, they think of Puerto Rican food, they'll compare it to Mexican cuisine
But it's so
a lot different. The flavors are different. You know, it's a lot more Caribbean.
Yeah. It's so one thing that a lot of people don't realize about Puerto Rico is that it is one of the islands, and a lot of the Caribbean islands are like this, but there is such a mesh of culture, right? So you have the culture from the native influence that's still very much a part of the island. Then you have African influence from when the Portuguese brought in the African slaves. So that's actually why mofongo sounds so weird, because it's something that, and I forget what the African name for it was, but they actually brought that over because what they used to do is they would mash something.
They boiled it. I think they boiled it first and mashed it. So.
They boiled and mashed it, but that's what that comes from. And then there's, of course, the European side of things. So there's just all these beautiful influences that make the food so unique and so different than what you would find in a Mexican restaurant, or even a Venezuelan restaurant, or something, or Peruvian. It's just a very different flavor profile than what people would think it should be or what it should taste like. And it's a good surprise actually when you first eat it and you're like, wow, this is different. Wow, this has so much flavor. You know, so that's kind of what we love. We love to kind of see people kind of take that first bite. It's so bad. We watch people sometimes when we know they've never had it. And then we just kind of like see them nod and then just keep eating. We're like, yes, they enjoyed it, you know? But it's different. And so for that, we're grateful that we can provide.
It's been a ride. It's been a ride to actually just get people to actually try Puerto Rican food, you know? So, I mean, even to this day, we still struggle with it. You know, people, you know, I get 40,000 people that pass my restaurant on a daily basis. And, you know, I don't capture, you know, not even a small percentage of that. So, you know, I think people still are just, you know, they still want to stay what they're familiar with, you know, they know what they like, you know, and they're just like, okay, I might want to try it one day, you know, so, you know, but we do get a lot of people that are starting to come in, and there are people like, we ask them, how'd you hear about us? And they're like, oh, I drove by one day and I said I wanted to come stop by and try it. So little by little.
Hey, Chris.
Hello.
You're looking pretty good today. Looking pretty sharp.
You know why?
Why, I think I know why.
Why is that?
I think you got to go visit the Salt Lake Barbershop Company.
Yeah, finally.
And they make you look good.
I finally got in there and got my mop chopped off a little bit. I was starting to look like a hippie.
I actually didn't know the true color of your hair until we were kind of confined a little bit more here and it had to grow out for a while. And it was just fascinating to see the difference. But man, they cleaned you up so good.
Yeah, well, typically I go in more often than I did. I've just been throwing on a hat a lot lately, but it was so nice to get cleaned up. The Salt Lake Barber Company, they're located at 10 East 800 South, right on the corner of 8th and Main. The Salt Lake Barber Company, they offer haircuts, beard trims, straight razor shaves, They are a true community barbershop. They focus on providing the best work environment possible, allowing their barbers to provide the highest quality experience while in the chair. And let me tell you what, Isaac in there, he pampers me. And every time I go in there, I'm like, I got to start coming in here more often. Like, I would love to go in there every day just because I love that hot
I
towel.
want to go in there just to visit those guys because they're awesome, but, I don't really have a great excuse.
Hey, saltlakebarberco.com is their website. This is where you can go get a guaranteed appointment. This is what I do to get a guaranteed appointment. That way I know exactly what day, what time I'm going in there. They do take walk-ins, but typically they're booked up, so don't plan on a walk-in. Just plan on going to saltlakebarberco.com, booking your haircut, booking your beard trim. If you're crazy enough to get a straight razor shave, you can book that as well.
I actually enjoy a straight razor shave as a woman.
Yeah, that's right.
Try it out.
You got one of those. Hey, and many thanks to the Salt Lake Barber Company for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Now, where are you guys located? I know I mentioned in the beginning Moe's Diner, but a lot of listeners, again, probably don't even know what I'm talking about. So what's the address of where you guys are at?
So we're right on the corner of 1300 South and 300 West. It's a really busy corner. Walmart is on that corner. You got Lowe's, Burger King. So it's a very busy corner. The highway, there's highway access right there. So
we're right next to Nightmare on 13th.
Yeah, right next door to the Nightmare on 13th.
Is that place open yet?
It is. It opened. Saturday it opened.
Yeah.
Or Friday.
I bet you that brings you guys some traffic over your way.
Yeah.
After everybody just scares the crap out of themselves, they have to go walk over and get some food.
Yeah. Or I'm like, you can just come eat and then maybe get the crap scared out of you later.
Or some employees will have a really fun night full of vomit. Either way, it's winning.
I don't know.
What are your
nobody to scare me.
What are your hours there for people listening?
So right now with the whole COVID thing, we're only open for dinner now. I take advantage of the food truck and open the food truck up for lunches at right in front of the restaurant, just because of cost for us. It's cheaper for us to run the food truck instead of getting staff to run the whole restaurant. So, and the lunches are just not the same downtown anymore. Yeah. Nobody's really coming out for lunch. I mean, if they do, they're stopping at Burger King or Taco Bell, grabbing something real quick. That's why I'm kind of I'm keeping the food truck going out front, just to see. And when I see the food truck picking up and getting really, really busy, then that'll be a sign of maybe, it's time to open up the restaurant for lunch again.
So it's 11 to 2 for the food truck.
For the food truck for lunch.
Tuesday through Saturdays. And then for dinner, we're open at 5.
5 to 9, Tuesday through Thursday. And then 5 to 10 Saturday and Friday and Saturdays.
Okay.
Do you guys, are you available on delivery apps if people want to try your food but can't get out?
We work right now with Chef Pansy. We tried Grubhub, we've tried the DoorDashes and all those major companies. And to be honest, I mean, it's really nice that they provide additional service to the restaurants, but their margins are so big. I mean, they take so much from us small businesses that it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
And so we now work with, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a local delivery company called Chef Pansy, and they work with like a chef pansy, like a chimpanzee, but with chef in front of it. It's kind of cool. But they work with local businesses, and they don't kill us, with their fees.
Yeah,
and
they're
processing.
very reasonable.
Very reasonable, where it's almost like, okay, do I want to hire a delivery person, or I can just have them do it because they're so reasonably priced. So, and they support local businesses, which is really, really important to us. We try and support local whenever we can. Yes. And they're doing that already. So that's really nice.
I'll have to look into that app.
Yeah, I'm really curious about it.
Yeah, they got a lot of local, really good local food on there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about them is that they started with the food trucks. Mm-hmm. So they kind of were based on working with food truck chefs, and then it got then they started working with restaurants and stuff like that. But check them out. They got a lot of great restaurants and trucks on their app.
Oh. We need to promote them more so we can help local restaurants be able to get delivery.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool what they're doing. And
their boundaries aren't as big as, some of the bigger companies. But, it is what it is.
They'll get there.
Yeah.
They've been there 2 years now active. So they're still growing.
All right, I wanted to pop in here really quickly and tell you about a podcast class that I'm starting the end of October. This is a class if you've wanted to ever start a podcast and you don't know where to begin. It is starting the end of October. I'm doing it online. It's hosted in part of the University of Utah Lifelong Learning Series. However, you don't have to be a student at the U, so anybody
can just go. And here's the thing, too, if I may interrupt, is that Chris, you have been doing podcasting since forever.
2012.
You are one of the original people. And so you've watched the progress of podcasting and you have seen the mistakes and you've stumbled and learned. And so honestly, I would say anyone who gets a chance to learn from you is really lucky because you have more experience than the average podcaster.
I've created this course to show the beginner podcaster everything they're going to need to know to record, to edit, to publish, to do a podcast. Because when I started this, I had no idea what I was doing. This is going to give you, you're going to end the class launching a podcast. Yeah. That's my goal.
I did a podcast on my own before I met you for a year. And I had no idea that I didn't know how to edit until I met you and you taught me. So there's always more you can learn, even if you've been doing it for a while too.
Type in iamsaltlake.com/podcast class. This is going to forward you over to the University of Utah Lifelong Learning Series page. This is where you can register for the class. It does start the end of October. It does go for 4 weeks. And I want to see you guys in there. I want to see my I Am Salt Lake podcast listeners in this class. How awesome would that be? I think it's going to be a blast. Cool. I'm going to show you how to get a quality podcast, how to record, how to edit, how to find sponsors, how to publish your podcast to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, and all the other audio outlets. Now you don't have to piece all that information, you guys. You can sign up for my class, iamsaltlake.com/podcast class. I want to see you in it. Let's get back to the show. Now, tell me about this Caribbean night you guys are doing at your restaurant on October 17th. I saw it on your Instagram. I don't know if you want to talk about this at all and promote it.
We're so excited.
Yeah, we are excited.
Can I talk about this one?
Yeah.
Is that okay? I'm super pumped. Yeah. So we've been talking about this actually with the founders of Chef Pansy, Indu and Caleb, for a while. They were like, we should just host a Caribbean because all the Caribbean food vendors are primarily food trucks, right? A lot of people I don't know if it's true all the time, but a lot of what I'm finding is restaurants start as a food truck is what this seems to be happening. And so a lot of the Caribbean chefs have food trucks. And so we were talking about just doing a Caribbean food truck night in our parking lot of the restaurant. And so it was just like, well, I don't know how that would work out. There's a lot of logistical things that we have to figure out. But we're really good friends with Chef Donovan. We actually shared a commercial kitchen with him. And Chef Donovan is from Jamaica's Kitchen food truck. And we're really good friends with him and his wife. And
I think you guys need to interview them too. Yeah, they're awesome.
They have such a cool story as well.
Yeah.
I was literally just writing that down when you said it.
Yeah.
I love it.
His food is amazing. His jerk chicken is amazing. I love his shrimp curry. And I just thought, wouldn't it be so fun if we just got together and just had a fusion night and just
blend our foods? Take a little bit of my rice and put it a little bit with his meat, and
I want to go to there.
Yeah, we got our mofongos, and I want to do a kind of like a jerk mofongo, because we don't do that in Puerto Rico. We don't usually use the jerk sauce, but I think that'll be a great fusion for people that like spice. So it's gonna be a good night. We actually scheduled a dinner with them to actually sit down and go over the menu that we're gonna do and finish planning it out and
figure out how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be interesting. We have no idea how this is gonna look.
Yeah.
And we're trying to think about what do we do? Do we want to use this as a fundraising opportunity for a local charity? Which I think that's probably the direction that we're going to go because we're big on giving back to our community. Yeah. And so is Donovan. And so we're we're just still in the brainstorming. It's probably going to be thrown together very quickly. But yeah, so we're thinking we're probably going to take reservations just to kind of control the flow of traffic, because I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit crazy and fun.
It might be, it might not. We don't know. We're just winging it. You know,
I think it's going to be really fun.
We're just going along with it.
Yeah. And we're going to have a DJ there that night too. So one of our customers, he is Cubano, so he's Cuban, and he always comes to our restaurant. And I just told him about, he's like, let me DJ. And so he does DJing the old school way, right, with the vinyl. And so he's talking about bringing all these things out. And so I think it's just going to be really, really fun. Just a good time to get together. Service might be a little crazy. Yeah. But we'll figure it out.
And this is the first one. We also want to work with some other Caribbean chefs that are local. There's a Haitian Caribbean chef. There's Cuban chefs that are in town. So, you know, we'll get the fusion going. I think people like fusion.
Yeah.
You know what I love though? I love that you're doing these fusion nights, but you're not going fusion American.
Yeah.
It's so cool that you're kind of, you know, fusion Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a new thing that I don't think there's a lot of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We want to do something different. And I do want to incorporate some American fusion into my menu eventually. You know, just as specials. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, man, you could go anywhere and get a burger. When they come and ask me for a Coke in my restaurant, you know, I'm just like, oh, we got island drinks, you know.
We do have Pepsi products.
Well, at the restaurant, yeah, but on the food truck, I only sell island drinks. So I don't sell no Coke or Pepsi products.
Good.
So the last 7 months or so, 6-7 months with COVID, the whole pandemic, the whole restaurant thing closing down, locking down, you guys had to shut down for a while and then reopen. And then you said business is slow. And what can we do as listeners to support more? Like besides just eating lunch and dinner at these places? Or, how can our listeners support you?
We thought about this just a lot, just in general with, even our own customers, because we get this question a lot. And I think it's just a matter of just word of mouth, just something as little as, come and eat, but invite a friend to come eat, with you that's never had our food before. Bring a friend. Because what we often find, and I think this is true of all of the local restaurants right now, is they'll bring that friend and then I'll see their friend the next time, and then they'll bring somebody else, and so it's really nice to kind of see this small little, the fires burn very, very slowly. But, it's just, I think that's probably the biggest thing. Just tell people about your favorite local restaurant. And then when you do come in, take care of your servers. There's always this, what is that called? There's always this controversy where like, the restaurant owners should pay their servers higher wages and things like that, which I totally agree that it would be nice. But in reality, restaurants work in small margins. Local businesses, local restaurants that are family owned and operated work with even smaller margins. And so, take care of your servers as much as possible. I know a lot of us business owners try and do as best as we can to help provide for them as well. Yeah. But tell people about it.
Support your local businesses. I know when this whole COVID thing happened, we were good because after the first 2 months of COVID, we were good because everybody was supporting their local businesses, everybody. And then after that third and fourth month and fifth month came in, people got tired of eating out, I guess, and started cooking at home more. But just continue. We urge the people to continue to support local businesses and keep on eating out.
As much as possible. We get it. Yeah, we get it. Yep. Everybody's suffering right now in some way or another, and it's scary time.
Yeah. We're just grateful that our doors are still open. Yeah, so seriously.
Yeah, and none of us want to see our favorite restaurants or cafes or whatever close down.
No, we really don't.
None of us. And the thing is, we don't realize how, like you said, your margins. It's so easy to have that happen. And it's really important for us to get out there And I know, I mean, we could even get better and probably going out more and more and more. But, even that, it's like, okay, what do you know? Where do you go and where do you eat at and who do you support? But
I hear you.
I think you guys got something really unique in Salt Lake City. And, I'd like to see you stick around for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. We would like to be here for a while.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Do you guys have any advice, like one or two pieces of advice to someone that might want to open up a business? Like, say, start a restaurant?
Oh, man.
Do your research. Do a lot of research. And when I say research, know your market, right? Who's your target audience? I will be honest, when we first opened up and we started this business, it was because there's no Puerto Rican food in Utah at all. We're the one and only, but what comes along with that, our supply, right? Our supply, the type of foods and the items that we need are not readily available here. So do your research, know who your suppliers need to be, and where you want to be located if it's a restaurant. Network as much as possible before you open up. So just start to put feelers out there. Take your time. Don't take shortcuts.
No shortcuts. I think I would, tell somebody that if they're going to start, I would say start off small, because that's the best way to do it. I mean, if you can have this grand idea in your head and, dump, $500,000 into a restaurant and, it just, it just might not work out. It's just restaurant is hit or miss. So yeah, I believe if you have a good product, I think it'll sell no matter where you're selling it, if it's in a tent or if it's in a brick and mortar. So I just will say that it's a lot of work, tell anybody that the food industry is, it's no walk in the park. It's a lot of work, and, you got to be dedicated. So now we're able to sit back right now, but it took us a long time.
We're not even able to sit back. We're more than we were.
Well, right now, yeah.
But because now we have a team, but in the beginning it was just he and I and my 7-year-old daughter roller skating through the front part of my restaurant, and roller skating through the kitchen, even though she wasn't supposed to be, but it was just the three of us. And we worked so hard, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and literal blood, sweat, and tears, and then being okay with starting from the bottom. So many people see this, they have this and they have this, they have a restaurant and a food truck now. But we started off with he was telling you guys that we had our first food truck, it was a food trailer. We had it built and we were rushing. And so we just chose this one person, and it was built so poorly. I mean, when it rained outside, water would literally pour inside the food truck.
Yeah,
and so
it
was a very bad experience, but we took shortcuts, so then we rushed into this bakery, which was a commissary, and it was fine for a commissary, but we used it for all the wrong reasons. So we were burnt out because we didn't have everything really set up. We were basically running before we even took baby steps. And then when we kind of stopped and we gave up, we missed it. He missed it a lot, and we started with the tent.
I bought a food tent, and I went back to basics and started from the ground up. Bought a portable fryer, a portable grill, food tent, and I signed up for festivals again.
Have you always loved cooking, or where did the idea come from originally for you to want to start a restaurant?
I don't know. It's crazy because there's not a passion. I don't have a passion for cooking. I'm not a certified chef. I didn't go to school for it or anything. I just got some family recipes and started cooking Puerto Rican food. I missed it. That's one of the things about being back east is, I could go to a corner store and, grab my favorite, Puerto Rican food. It's there, so when I didn't have that here. So I was just like, I think I could do that. I think I could do it. So I just winged it and I did it. And, I kind of fell in love with it. I wouldn't say that I
totally fell in love with it.
I think
all excited.
I think the success, I think after you see the fruits of your labor, after so many years, I think that's what makes you, really fall in love and keep on doing what you're doing. So, yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Very cool. Let's, we need to switch directions to, we have a few Salt Lake City related questions we ask everybody that comes through here. So of course we have to ask you guys. We have family and friends that visit us from time to time, right? They come visit us here in Salt Lake City and they're like, give us the tour, show us around, show us your favorite areas of town, building, hikes, whatever it is, even the Great Salt Lake. I don't know. Do you have any one or two favorite places you like to take visitors?
So we always do downtown.
Yeah, we always go downtown, show them the whole temple thing and hiking's, we love going on hikes around here. So
there's in our families from the East Coast, right? So when we say hiking, it's light hiking because the elevation is like, it's killer when you first come, and you can't breathe. But we remember that one time we took your father to a hike in Sandy, and I don't know what it's called. It was so nice up there. It was off of 90th something.
No, it was somewhere on the other side. Yeah.
I don't know, but we kind of just pick different trails and we go hiking pretty regularly. But we always try and take them on a hike, and it's usually a really easy one, like Donut Falls or something like that, and there's the one in Sandy, and I wish I remembered the name, but that one's not easy. It was pretty tough, especially for them. And then
Antelope Island. When people come to visit, we'll take them to Antelope Island.
We'll go to Bear Lake.
Yeah, Bear Lake's a favorite of ours.
That's it, yeah.
But because we love water, anything water related. We'll do like the Provo River tubing, not Weber Canyon. I swear I almost died on that one. That's a whole nother podcast. But
How did you almost die on that?
Taking a video on that one, huh?
You said you almost died on it?
Yeah, I feel like I almost died. Yeah, it was one of those things, when you first, it was like our first 2 weeks when we moved here, we went up and they're telling you as you're driving up, right, for the drop-off location, stay left, stay right here, and blah, blah, blah. And so we get to this area. I'm like, I think this is one of the areas where we have to stay a certain direction. Well, we're drinking wine down the river and, having some beer. And none of us remember whether we were left or right.
I was in the front with some of her coworkers.
He ditched me.
And then she was probably like a mile back, and when we got up, she's just like, "Oh, I almost died.
So my tube got stuck on a rock, and I was trying to shimmy off of it. Well, when I got shimmied off of it, there was a drop off of about 4 or 5 feet, which you can't see, of course, because of the rapids. And I just flipped the other way. And all I could remember the guy saying is, hold on to your tube no matter what you do. And so that's what I did. So I was drugged for so long under that water. And I don't even know, one of my other friends who's done it multiple times, who's more experienced, came and helped me like stop the tube, get up. But I was like bloody on my knees and legs. I could have drowned and you were nowhere to be found. You were just drinking your beer and gone.
I have a really important question just because I know you're safe and you're laughing about it now, but did you lose the wine? Because
I did not.
The whole time I'm like, where did the wine go?
We took the wine out of the box. Yeah, so it was a box wine, so it'd float with us.
Oh my gosh, you're a genius. Will you be my new best friend?
I cannot take credit.
It was our first time too, but I've never done anything like that in my life. And I don't recommend the Weber one to do it on your first one.
And I don't recommend drinking while you're going down a river that you've never been on or done before.
It was fun though. It was a great time. It was like a 4-hour tube ride down the Weber. So you just stop in these little islands and, you set up and you party for a half hour and then you all get back on your tubes and go down another 2 hours and, do it all over again. But it was good times. It was good times, but it was the water was really rapid and in some areas. And, but yeah.
So now I will never go tubing again, ever, not even the Provo. But I did go that one time when family came down to the Provo River and they liked it. I was petrified the entire time.
I enjoy Utah. Utah has a lot of outdoor activities to offer,
it's beautiful.
The older I'm getting more into it, so I like going, hiking. I love going to the lakes, fishing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Another question we ask everybody that comes through here is one or two favorite local eating spots. Now, obviously, Pepito Mo's, you go there and get a bite to eat, but I'm sure there's one or two other favorites that you like to go to and get a bite to eat.
So we recently found Golden Gyros. It's a little hole in the wall spot up the street.
Yeah,
from
we call them gyros back east.
Yeah,
and
they're euros.
Yeah,
sorry.
When you guys
Okay.
when we moved here, they're euros.
I got corrected multiple times.
I know gyros, so that's what I call them, gyros.
Well, and everyone out here makes fun of me because I called them gyros my whole life. And they're like, what's
Exactly.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
So thank you guys for making me feel less insane. I'm so glad it's not just us.
Yeah, I still hear it all the time. Every time I go in and order one, I call it gyro.
He's like, euro?
So
they're good.
yeah, Golden. Anytime I'm in downtown, and I want a quick lunch, I go to Golden Euro. They're on I think 800 South or 900 South, and
What else? We like so many.
I like
foods.
Indian food. We go to Bombay House. We like Bombay House.
I love the Himalaya Kitchen, which is by Big.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I recently, just yesterday, we finally went to, so I'm from New York, right? So pizza's like everything to me. It's my favorite food next to Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican, I know, but Mexican and pizza are like my favorite foods. And we just went to the Pie Hole.
Yeah.
After 7 years of being here.
Yeah.
And
It's good pizza, huh?
Oh my goodness, this is so much like home. It's not exactly like home, but it comes pretty close.
Yeah, very,
to New
very,
York pizza.
very. It's the closest thing that I found out here to pizza back east.
So now it's on my favorite list.
Yeah.
And then there's, of course, the food trucks, right? We're such foodies that we just like everything. Afghan, what is this guy's, the Afghani food truck?
Wow, forgot the
Drawing
name.
a blank.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez. Afghan Kitchen has a lot of good food, but there's this food truck that his food is just amazing. And for the life of me, I can't remember because it's been a while since we've been there.
Yeah, I haven't even seen him out. I don't know what happened to him.
But we like all different types of food. And then we love Keto's beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some good local
Moochie's is
beer
my
there.
favorite place for cheesesteaks.
The where now?
Moochie's.
Oh, Moochie's, yes.
Oh my gosh,
Moochie's is
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Moochie's is good.
So yeah, we're always
got a
looking
couple
for,
there.
We're always looking for new restaurants to try.
we eat out a lot more than we probably should because we cook all the time.
It probably gets hard to cook at home after cooking
Yeah, you just
at
have
the
no
restaurant. all
desire
day,
to
you
cook
know?
at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's literally work.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
hear you on that one.
Yeah.
Would you change anything about the area, about Salt Lake City, about the Valley, if you had that power, right? Like you were the mayor and you're like, I want to change this. What would you change?
I think it's just diversity.
Diversity. I would say diversity. Back east, we're used to a whole lot of diversity back east, and I think just some
And I don't
more
know
of
that
it.
the
Some
city-
more of it.
yeah, I mean, I think-
and I don't think it's something that I could change, about anything, but I think I would like more of it.
More diversity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure. So
And maybe if we can do more promotion of minority businesses and like really build up the community here, maybe more people will come.
And it's actually interesting you say that because they sent out a survey. I don't even know when this, like maybe a month or two after COVID happened, and when all the racial diversity was happening and still happening, but when all of that kind of was just bubbling up, and we're asking all these questions about inclusion and different things like that, and that was one of them was. I wish they would do more to promote some of the smaller businesses, like really small businesses, not some of the small businesses that maybe have 3 or 4 chains already, but maybe like some other smaller mom and pops and ethnic businesses or, minority ran businesses.
Education. I think that there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are just starting out there that don't have a lot of resources and stuff like that. And, I think being educated, and reaching out for information, knowing where to go for help and stuff,
That would have been
there's a lot of help out there, that people don't know about. So just getting people educated, I think, spending that could be a big part of some change, And
then the homeless situation
Yes,
downtown. It's, as a business owner being right down on 13 South and 300 West.
Yeah, we get a lot of it.
We have I mean, we have an outdoor patio, and sometimes we go there and there's sleeping bags and there's just all, just obvious evidence that somebody was sleeping there the night before, which I don't make a big deal about things like that. Usually they clean up after themselves. So I just kind of clean up the area, sanitize and whatnot. But I think that there's such opportunity for these people that just need help, and so many people turn an eye to them. And I get it. Decisions have been made, but we all make decisions, right, that are not so great in our lives. And there's just a need to just help that community.
And some of them just need a finger. You just need to point them in the right direction. Some of them don't even have that. And some of them are just hungry, some of them just come to the restaurant because they're hungry and thirsty.
There are some that don't want help, and I get it. I mean, we have a doc, he's like family now. We haven't seen him in a while, but they come in, they eat. How are you doing? We're doing good. They get their food and they go, and they don't want to have anything to do with being helped by anybody, which, is fine, but
that's the life they choose to live. Yes.
But there's
they don't want to chit chat with you. Yeah. They're like, no, we're out of here.
Yeah. Although we do have Doc who wants to come and chit chat, and he's so sweet, and he comes and brings me all types of stuff from, I don't even know where he gets it. I think he got a crush on my wife. Yeah.
Aww,
yeah.
So cute.
He comes in, he's like, Mamacita, get me that tripleta sandwich. And I'm like, okay. Same old, yeah. I had fries today, and it just is what it is. But just, I don't know what can be done about that, but just providing some more support in that area.
Support and resources and just somebody that cares too. So many people just kind of turn the other way when they see them and don't want to help them. But I am so glad that we were able to get the two of you on the podcast. I'm so glad we were able to set this up. And I apologize. I know we had to reschedule a few times, but I'm so glad to finally have done this with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for sticking
reaching out
with
to
us
us and, getting this done.
Yeah. And, I know we just kind of skimmed the surface, found out the basics about your restaurant, your food truck. There's probably so much more to do. I know you guys even do catering, and we didn't get into catering very much. You guys do that, as well for our listeners to know and support you there. But is there anything that you were hoping we would talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about during this recording before we completely wrap this up? I like to kind of open it up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really have anything. I think it was pretty basic. Spoke a little bit about ourselves and the business, and we just want the listeners to know that we're here.
Don't be afraid to try.
A lot of people don't know that we're here. We get it all the time. We're just like, wow, I didn't know you were here. So we just want them to know there's a Puerto Rican restaurant in Salt Lake City, and tell everybody about it. We're on the corner of 1300 South, 300 West, and we're open for dinners now, Tuesday through Saturday.
Very cool. And then, obviously pick up if they, they just want to stop by and pick up some food.
Oh, yeah. They can order online, order takeout online. We do curbside pickup. We do full service catering, everything from just dropping and going and,
to weddings. If you have a gathering
something more formal, we do all of that. And if there is also any community organizations that want to partner with us, we're huge on that as well. And so if they have a need for food for their event, we're willing to do that free of charge. It's something that we don't charge for, is to get out there and give back to our community. So, so that's probably the only thing I would say that we didn't really mention. It's not something that we like to be like, oh, we do all this and that. But if there's ever somebody that needs that, we're happy to help where we can.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you for mentioning that. And I'll put all the links for social media, the website, all that at iamsaltlake.com with this episode as well. So our listeners can connect with you there as well. And when they go in, I want to tell them, hey, mention that you heard them on I Am Salt Lake podcast, right? Because I'm sure you'd like to hear that people heard this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chrissy has a final question she likes to ask everybody that comes through here too. I'm going to let her ask that. Thank you again for coming and doing the podcast.
Yes, thanks for having us.
I feel so enlightened on the local kind of more underground food scene now. I'm like super excited about it. But before we let you guys go, could you leave our listeners with a motto or a piece of life advice that you live by or that you wish other people would live by?
Patience comes, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I wish I would have a lot more patience. I wish people would have a lot more patience.
Especially the drivers.
Kidding.
No, I'm not.
Especially nowadays,
No,
we live in days of, everybody just wants something, instantly. So, that's including myself, I'm very impatient. So I think that's something I could work on. And I think a lot of other people can work on too.
So that's yours. Can I have one?
Yes,
Christy?
Go ahead. Yes.
Be kind.
Yes.
Be kind.
Yes.
People are so mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just ultra sensitive, which I know I can be, but just be kind. Being kind can go such a long way. You don't know. Spread love, not hate.
Yeah.
People are very quick to just react. And especially now, this year has just been terrible for everyone, that it's like, I don't know. People just tensions are high, and people just need to remember that you don't know what that person is going through. And so everybody's experience in this world is different. And so just be respectful of that and be kind and be loving to others. And just, we just need to love each other more. That's all.
Thank you again to Kimberly and Jesus Vasquez for joining us on this episode of the podcast. All of the links that we mentioned in this conversation can be found with this episode show notes on our podcast website, which is iamsaltlake.com/451 for episode 451.
My goal by next week is to create a little weekly recommendation jingle. Ooh, I want to start creating little jingles.
Me
for
too,
I Am
because
Salt Lake.
they literally go off in my head.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to share them, but if I try to do it with my mouth, it's not going to go well.
It's just been one of those things. I mean, this podcast has been around for longer than 8 years, and I've just never done jingles on it. I've always wanted to do little jingles.
We need some, what is it when you watch a movie? What's the background music called?
I don't know. Let's do weekly recommendations.
We need music. Yeah.
I got weekly recommendations. This is the time of the podcast where Chrissy and myself, we give some recommendations, probably something that happened, this past week that we want to recommend or we've enjoyed.
Things that are fresh.
Things that are fresh or things you just want to recommend to our awesome audience out there, our I Am Salt Lake podcast community. So you go first, Chrissy.
Me go first. Okay. I like a lot of things. I do a lot of things, but this week and this last month, I've been really trying to focus on remembering to do random acts of kindness. We've had so many people this year who have really stepped up and helped us out, and it's just made me feel so incredible, and it makes me want to just give more. And so what I want to recommend is for everybody to just go a little bit out of your way to do something nice for someone, even if you don't know them, because you will just slowly feel better and better and more fulfilled as a person. And that is always good.
I like that.
Yeah. And my mom always told me growing up, if you're depressed or sitting around and anxious and depressed, go do something nice for someone and the depression will lift. And it really does.
Hey, it sounds like your mom's got some good advice there.
She does. She's a smart lady.
Yeah. No, I can learn a lot from that, but I like that. That is some great recommendations. I can definitely get a lot better at that. But listen, here's my recommendation. This is kind of a fun one so this one takes me back quite a few years. So yesterday I had to take Tate, our 15-year-old, to Guitar Center. He wanted to play some drums, wanted to get out of the house a little bit and play some drums. Anyway, so of course I'm not going to make the kids suffer with a podcast. I listen to podcasts 99% of the time in the car.
You're nicer than me.
I put on one of my old Bad Religion albums, and man, that album still stands up, man. Like it is a really good album. Well, it's the Stranger Than Fiction album. Sorry, excuse me. Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction. Great album. I don't know. I used to listen to it years ago. 20 years ago, I think it came out, something like that. So in my early 20s, I don't know.
Yeah, I was too nerdy to know about that.
So on that note.
Oh, well, hey, go listen to it. Maybe I'll even check it out.
Yeah, right. That'll be the day. It's not a musical.
No, I'm going to go listen to a Broadway show. It's fine. I still love you. So don't forget, you guys, you can always visit our website at iamsaltlake.com to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. And if you know someone who might be interested in coming on the show, or if you're interested in coming on the show, just shoot us an email at hello@iamsaltlake.com, or you can call our voicemail line at 801-613-1592.
All right. You guys have a great week. Get out and enjoy the city. Support local. And we'll see you on the next episode of I Am Salt Lake Podcast.
And good night, Grammy.